Today I want to show you guys how to change the coolant in your second generation Nissan Frontier. This has the V6 VQ40DE engine, so this should be nearly identical to any vehicle that has that same engine. Now the first thing that we want to do is turn our car to the on position. You don't need to start it here, just turn it on. And then we want to turn our fan speed to low and our heat to max. And then this will make sure that the valve to the heater core is open and that the coolant can flow through the heater core. So after about 10 seconds, go ahead and turn your car back off. Next, we want to pop the hood. Nissan recommends doing this service at 105,000 miles or 7 years, whichever comes first, off of the factory fill, and then 75,000 miles or 5 years after that. Now, when you're looking at your engine, this is your radiator, guys. This is the radiator cap, and this is your coolant overflow tank right here. Never take off either one of these two caps when the engine's hot. Wait till it fully cools down. Now we're ready to drain the old coolant out of the radiator and the entire cooling system, guys. So the first step is we need to locate the petcock, which is just the drain plug for the radiator. So you come under the front of the vehicle here, and right under the passenger front side here, there's this little access hole in the factory skid plate here. And that little Phillips head screw right there, that's the petcock or the drain plug to the radiator. So if I zoom out a little bit here, you can kind of see where that's at. Now you'll need to get yourselves a nice big drain pan, guys. This is a 20-quart drain pan right here. And if you look closely, there's little measurement marks on the side there. So we'll be able to tell exactly how much fluid is drained out of here. I would recommend wearing safety glasses here so you don't get coolant in your eyes. And then we're just gonna undo our petcock with a Phillips head screwdriver. All right, there you go. Get my drain plug out of there before it gets buried. This is what your petcock looks like here. There's a pretty thick O-ring gasket on there. Now I'm gonna remove the radiator cap so it drains faster. Kind of breaks that suction. So once it's down to just a little drip or trickle like this, guys, now it's time to put your petcock back in. Now I let this drain for about probably good 10 minutes, guys. You could just let it keep, dripping for quite a while there, but since we're gonna flush the system anyways, we don't want this to take all day. Okay, so now we can remove the reservoir cap. Now you could try to suck the fluid out of there, guys, but a better way to do it is, let's see if I can show you here. Right down there, there is a hose that leads from the bottom of the reservoir tank, and it leads over here, and it is this hose right here, guys. So all we have to do is take off that clamp there, and then once this end of the hose gets lower than the reservoir tank, then the fluid will start to drain out of there. So I like to use vice grips on these types of clamps. And kind of twist it back and forth to break the seal. It's probably stuck on there a little bit. There we go. I don't want to damage the hose at all, but you want to just get it loose like that. Okay, now it should pull off. Okay. And then I'm just going to tuck it down here, and my drain pan is down there, of course. So not a lot of fluid really drains out of here, guys, but now if you look in there, you may be able to see that hole. So basically all the fluid is out of there. There's just a tiny bit in the very bottom now. All right, now I want to stick this hose back on there. Oh, carefully. And we're just gonna take our vice grips, slide this back on there. And there's our total with the radiator and the reservoir, guys. It's right at about 6 quarts. Now this whole system calls for 11 quarts or 2 3/4 gallons. So some of the coolant will still be in the engine block and some of the other coolant lines. And that's why we are gonna do a flush now, guys, to get the rest of that coolant out of there. All right, now we need to add water to the system, guys, to flush it out. As you just saw, there's a decent amount of old coolant still in the system, and we wanna circulate that through and get as much of that out as we can. Now we wanna use distilled water for this, guys. And the reason for that is regular tap water has minerals in it that over time can cause corrosion in the cooling system. So we want to avoid that as much as possible, obviously. Now, this is just a spill-free filter that I'm using, guys, that I got from Z1 Off-Road. It comes with several, 3 actually, of this type of adapter, different sizes to work for different cars and different size radiator caps. And then it also has this little piece here. This one doesn't fit mine, you know, perfectly. There's a little bit of play, but this one fits just perfect. So you just basically screw this on the same way you would any old radiator cap. Line it up where it needs to be, and then just screw it on. Okay, until it's tight. And then the end of this is just gonna go in there. And you'll see in here, there's a little O-ring, and that's just to plug this. So there's this little handle right here. If I pull up on this handle, then that is open, as you can see, and fluid can flow through there. And then when I push down on it, it seals it off right there. So this is a nice little spill-free system here. All right, so I'm gonna begin filling with my distilled water. Now, since I drained about 6 quarts of coolant out of the system, I expect it'll take about 1.5 gallons or 6 quarts to refill it. You see the big old bubbles in there, guys, as the air in the system gets purged. Obviously there's a lot of air in there right now because we just drained it completely. So we're just going to fill it up until the water level is basically right at the base of this neck here. And then we're going to want to refill the reservoir as well. So you notice that it stopped bubbling, so we might be full there, guys. Yep, looks like we're full there. Now you'll see that just refilling the radiator, actually a little bit of fluid did come in to the reservoir here. And you'll look on the side over here, and you'll see we're still a little bit low. So I'm just gonna fill it up so the water level is in between the min and the max there. Just to note here, so the cap for the reservoir and the radiator are the same size. So this will fit on both, this will fit on both. This is the one with the little spring there. This is the one for the reservoir. So that goes over there. This one is really just a cap. There's nothing else to it. And you'll notice right on here, it says, never fix on the reservoir tank. So the reservoir tank. So this is the one that goes on the radiator. And this is literally just a cap. So I'm going to screw those back on. And if you didn't know, there's these little tabs that you have to line up in those little grooves there. And then you just finish tightening it and screw it on all the way. Now you want to start up your truck. And you want to make sure that your heat's still on so that everything can circulate through the heater core. And keep an eye on the reservoir tank here because that level might drop down quite a bit. Now let your truck run for at least 10 or 15 minutes, guys. Get to full operating temperature. Go ahead and take a trip to the store if you need to. Let all that fluid circulate through the system. Once you've driven it around for a while, gotten it up to full operating temp, then you want to let it sit for a little while, of course, and cool back down. And then we're going to drain all the water out of the system, same way that we did before. Now that came out with a little more force and pressure that time because it wasn't 100% cool. I basically just let it cool down enough that I would not burn myself. So you'll do this drain and fill process as many times as you want until you're satisfied with most of the old coolant being flushed from the system. This is my fourth and final time right here. And then if you look over here, these are samples that I took. This is the original 50/50 drain, and then the next drain, and this is the one that we're on right now. As you can see, there's a little bit of a blue tint, but it's mostly, you know, probably like 95% water, if not more. So I'm satisfied. Now, since this is my last drain, I'm gonna let it drain a little bit longer to try to get as much of the water out as I can. And then also, I'm gonna jack up the rear of the truck just to kind of angle it forward, and then hopefully that will drain a little bit more of the water out of the engine block that way. So make sure your truck's in park, of course, and then go ahead and block the front wheels. And then I'm just gonna put a floor jack under the rear differential and slowly lift it up. So we're finally done draining, and we got right around 7 quarts on this final drain. So we're ready to do the final fill here. Now, as I just said, I drained about 7 quarts of water out. This system holds 11 quarts, so in theory there should be close to 4 quarts, but really it's less than that, because when I did the drain and fills, I didn't bleed the system. I just filled up, you know, to the radiator neck, and then I warmed up the vehicle, and then I let it cool down and then drain it. So there's really probably about 3+ quarts of water still in there, guys. It should be close to pure water at this point, maybe 95%. Now, there are 2 drain plugs on the block, guys, where you can drain all the coolant out of the block, but they're hard to reach and you have to reseal them when you go to put them back in. Really what I think those plugs are for is if you're gonna pull the engine and you wanna drain all the fluids out of the block. But if you're feeling adventurous and you want to do it, you know, feel free, just so you know about them. So for me though, I'm just gonna use a concentrate first till I get roughly a 50/50 mix. So I'll probably put in roughly 3.5 quarts of this, and then I'll go to a 50/50 mix after that until we're full and during the bleeding process. This is the type of fluid that you want, guys. It doesn't have to be, you know, peak brand, but you want the Nissan blue coolant. It's a blue pot coolant. Pretty much any Nissan or Infiniti vehicle after 2009 uses this type of fluid, guys. And then, as I said, you can buy it in a concentrate, in which case you need to mix it, you know, 50/50 with distilled water, or you can just buy a 50/50 mix like this. So I'm gonna be utilizing both today. All right, guys, so let's get started. Now, don't forget to put your petcock back in, guys, or you'll have a big mess on your hands. If I'm a little bit over or under on my 50/50 ratio, I'm not too worried about it. I just want to be close. All right, guys, that was roughly 3.5 quarts. Now I'm switching to the 50/50 mix. And you can tell because it's a lighter color. So this is open, and as you can see, it's pretty much stopped. Now, one little thing that you can do is squeeze the upper radiator hose here, and that'll get some air out of that. And you'll see the bubbles and the level drop a little more. So now we're really close. So it's done filling on its own at this point, but now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go make sure that the heater core is turned on, and then we're gonna start the vehicle, let it warm up, and start the actual bleeding process. And you'll see this level continue to drop down. Now we wanna turn our car to on, not start it yet, and we all wanna make sure that we're on max heat and low fan setting. So that looks great. And then what this does is it makes sure that the valves on the heater core are open so that fluid circulates through there as we're trying to bleed the system. Alright, so that's warm, so the thermostat is now open, guys. And you probably saw a couple bubbles in here. Well, we might be close here, guys. After a while, one more thing you can do, guys, to help bleed the coolant is to rev your engine a little bit. Not super high, just 2,000 to 3,000 RPMs. And hold it for a little bit. And then that'll help bleed out some of those stubborn air pockets. So now you should be pretty well bled, guys. Don't forget to check your reservoir tank in the coming days. For the final top off, I would recommend going slightly higher than the max fill line on here when your engine is cold. It's fairly well known that the max line on these is a little bit low for some reason, so most people go about 1 inch higher than the max fill line on there, and that can help make sure that your system does get fully bled. One way to test if you have any air pockets in the heater core is to just turn on your heat. If you have heat at idle or when the vehicle is stopped, then your system is working properly and it's fully bled. If you only have heat when you rev the engine or when you're cruising down the highway, then you probably have air pockets in the system still. Now, one thing that you can do to try to help this is after several driving cycles, come back here and just burp the reservoir tank. So just take off this cap. This is a pressurized system, and if there was still air to bleed out of the system, you'll hear like a little hissing sound as air escapes out of this cap when you burp it. Another thing that can help, guys, and I have a different video showcasing this, but this is the inlet hose to your heater core. And the OEM one on these is plastic and known to fail. Now this is an aftermarket one from Z1 Off-Road, and it also has a little bleeder valve on here. So that's something else that can help you bleed the system if you're having trouble getting all the air out of the heater core. So hope this video helped, guys. Remember to do it yourself.